Qtron man, I've decided to reply video by video because you've already said enough to reply to. And I think that's okay. I think it'll make it conversational. It might be kind of like I'm interrupting, but I don't think so. So I haven't watched the other two yet. So my response, hopefully the video, maybe I should check the audio because there was a problem last time. Um, Hopefully it'll be okay. If anything, too loud. But it doesn't say it's too loud. Hello, hello. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay. First of all, um, I hope I hoped at the beginning that this didn't affect too much. It doesn't seem to, but it's the point. Yes, all of us environmentalists and animal rights activists are humans. The point was that I acknowledged that as a reason to side with humans. All things being equal. Hey, if we can treat all animals peacefully and survive, then I think we probably should. On the other hand, if we can't, then okay, well, maybe some of them we should treat that way. I'm willing to say that, and I'm willing to say that makes it somewhat petty in the sense that I fully acknowledge that another species might side for itself. You know, I don't begrudge him, that a mosquito wants to suck blood. I still want to fight against that mosquito, but I understand where it's coming from its side to a certain degree. Though I also do find parasites a disgusting way to live. But I see their role in nature, and so on and so forth. So there's a balance in that. But the point is, for me, is that I acknowledge that my bias, and it's not like I acknowledge I'm biased for humans, therefore I shouldn't be, therefore, to hell with humans. No, it's like I acknowledge that I'm biased to humans, therefore I'm biased to humans. Yay for humans. You know what I'm saying? It's a crucial difference. Because I'm just facing reality, and it's like, well, how are you going to justify that? I'm going to justify that because that's where my genes came from. And I think when you do justify and face that, you can do pretty well by animals. You find out that if it's us versus them, there's not a lot of the negative that we do to animals that's justifiable. If you see what I mean, maybe there's an ironic thing there. Okay, now you say the chasm of what humans do versus what animals do. Okay, listen, the irony is that here is that the real difference is 6 million years. And you were and the whole topic is like being bigoted for your species. And there's 6 million years because we killed out 6 million years worth of evolution between us and the apes. Every one of them was too close. We thought they were a competitor. These hobbits they found, the Neanderthal, they're all gone. Maybe it was a mysterious ape virus that didn't affect us. Okay, I don't really know. Nobody's really proved that. But whatever it is, some accident of evolution led to this gap, and that's why whatever we can do, like an opposable, we are very good grippers. Now, granted, so are the other apes, but and for that matter, all the simians, all the monkeys and everything, good grippers. Okay, but still, not many other things are quite as good at grippers. Granted, it's the intellect, but all mammals have a pretty impressive intellect. All animals reason. They do. And, this was a thing that Sextus Empiricus went into and is a part of, the oldest record we have of Pyrrhonistic skepticism, that animals have been observed to reason. I don't really want to go into it right now. But anybody has access to the fact that animals reason. Now, they don't do as much reasoning as us. And see, I'm not bad-mouthing humans. I think humans are the awesomest. I think I wouldn't want to be any other animal. On the other hand, I could see why being an eagle is also pretty cool. Being able to fly and see something with telescopic vision like a superhero on the ground might be kind of cool way to live. I'm not going to say fundamentally that one or the other. Now, I'm into the human way, and that's not that surprising. Okay. But that's the important thing to realize. I think that what humans can do is the awesomest of the stuff. The intellect, and the creating of imagery, especially in art. The fact that we can create whole environments. We can create whole worlds. They're subworlds. They're not, nearly as impressive as the whole world put together for real, but they're close enough to something that you could call a world. I mean, a work of art, let alone virtual reality and stuff, but just a regular work of art. You become engrossed. So it's both our mind's ability to become engrossed and our mind's ability to create something engrossing. And I think interesting there is that we can create engrossing worlds for animals as well. When we try to, you can put an animal in a habitat it loves better than something it would find just left to fortune. Not that we do that often, but it is possible. So yes, our intellect is our strong point, and it does separate us in a lot of ways, but nothing fundamental. Okay, just by 6 million years. And again, the irony of usually it's a little bit less than that, but we seem to have wiped out a lot of ancestors, maybe a few million years ago, so that it left this gap. Okay, I think we can overcome that. 6 million years, we're turning the corner. Okay. That we are hairless is a funny thing you meant that because, okay, I didn't remember being snide at first, but the thing is, it was just about the fact that it could be anything. Of course, we use our intellect, that's the obvious thing, because that's what makes us stand out, but it could be anything, right? It could be the hairlessness. And I think, ironically, there's got to be a biological link between the hairlessness and the intellect. I mean, the fact that we're dependent on clothes on so many places that we live on the earth and have been for 10 to 100,000 years, I don't know, a long time, seems like that requires being smart. Really, really reliably smart. Smart enough to get to a place, find materials to make things by hand. It's pretty good. Then again, it's still just souped up animal stuff, you know what I mean? And most animals, yeah. Okay, this is the funny thing. You talked about transhumanism. That's interesting. I agree with you. I think we're going to be, transhumanism is with robots, but also, I mean, genetic transhumanism, where I agree we'll be able to genetically decide what we want. However, a lot of that stuff won't work. We'll imagine it, and it won't work for some reason, even the ones we can't figure out. And it's still just souped up evolution. Because animals can do that. Because if you had a time lapse of millions and millions of years of animals developing web silk, we're just doing that quicker when we create something that we can create a web silk out of, if you know what I mean. So it's just souped up. And granted, humans are awesome. We've souped up everything. We're mastering biology itself. It's awesome. I think we do have a special role. I think among all the biology on Earth, we have a special role, but we need to realize that the environment is a part of our overall system because we're social creatures, and I don't even mean even if we were all hermits, like some animals live that way. You still need genetic reproduction, so you have mating. So there's this. We've realized that even if I'm come from a rugged individualist stance, but I realized that even a rugged individual needs a mom and dad, and so some of these things, come from that, and we're still the things we figured out is just souped up evolution. So I think a lot of these issues are superficial things versus genetic things. So our differences with other animals are more superficial. Now they go deep. The behavior is deep, what we see, but still, that's usually, I wouldn't even say that we should consider that superficial. But when we're talking about the difference between us and other animals, I think reducing things to genetics makes a lot of sense. And so much of the genes are in common among mammals, for example, that you really say that these differences, these 5 and 10% differences, are just the surface part, and that most of the real part of what's going on is the same. And it's just such a great language of expression, this genetics that we have on Earth, that with 5 or 10% or even 2% difference, like between us and the chimpanzees, you can express a lot of difference. But it's still only 2% in reality, you know what I mean, from a materialist objective framework.